Welcome, everyone. We want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to be with us. Come on, let's get to the root of it.
In these times that we live, we take strides to move forward. We strive to be more, stay strong and be focused. Start a while, we make choices, live or die. Take over starts at the root, and the truth may be hard to swallow. Step one, self-love above anything else. Unlock peace and happiness.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and thank you for tuning in to At the Root of It. My name is Shannon, and on this show tonight, it is something that I ran across at work. I had to do a training, and it was on unconscious biasness. And when I saw what the training was about, I was like, wow, that's a good topic to bring to the show. And the reason being is because did you even know what unconscious biasness is? Well, if you don't know, now you know. It's about to go down tonight. Hey, my love, how are you doing tonight? Good evening, good evening, good evening. But let's get into the mission statement. The mission statement is that we are building a community of both men and women who are on a journey of self-love and self-healing. We do recommend that you go to therapy if you need to speak to somebody other than, your people. Maybe you need to lay on somebody's couch to have somebody that is not biased to give you some insight on your situation. We also have biblical principles that we deal with most of our topics. And it's because that's my belief. I don't force my belief on anybody else. But I'll tell you one thing, that it really works. Like, it really works. But before I get into all of that, this is the segment, or the part of the segment, where we share, and share some more. So we're going to go and share now. Please share. And I'm about to share it with everybody on my timeline. All right, all right. Sarai, sarai. All right. And mind you guys, I was not even going to do the show tonight because church was so good. Church was so good, had me all tired and ready to just sleep my day away. And I really was going to sleep my day away. But maybe next week I'll take some time off. So I'm sharing, and sharing some more. Where did it go? And then we're going to get into the thick of it. All right? Unconscious biasness. This is good. Unconscious biasness, darlings. I'm almost done. And then we're going to get to the nitty gritty. And even for the people who tune in a little bit later, that's fine. But we need to know what unconscious biasness is. Because, baby, we deal with it on our jobs. We deal with it just in general. And the information just really blew my mind. So hopefully it'll blow yours too. But it's share time, so let's share. I think I'm done. I think I'm done. All right. So let's get to it. So, like I said, last week I had to take a training, and that training was on unconscious biasness. And when you think about that, what does bias mean, right? So let's get into that first before y'all, what does bias mean? So the definition of bias is prejudice in favor of or against one thing, person, or group compared with another, usually in a way considered to be unfair. Then, excuse me, in some sports, such as lawn bowling, that's an irregular, I don't know what they're talking about as far as that, but it's prejudice, partiality, favoritism, unfairness, bigotry, intolerance, sexism, racism, homophobia, inclination, discrimination. Thank you so very much, Mike. Congratulations on the job. Well done. Keep up the good work so the good Lord can continue to bless you in ways that you cannot imagine in your ministry. I'm so proud of you. You have my prayers and my blessings. I love you, and God loves you more. Thank you so very much, Mike. I really appreciate that. And I see that He's continually blessing you over and over and over again. So I thank you for your words and I thank you for your prayers. I need them. So thank you very much. See, that makes my heart smile a lot. So when you are unconscious, when you do things unconsciously, it's like an innate thing. It's just something that you do. It's something that you have been doing and no one has brought to the forefront before, right? So you can treat people in a way that you don't even really mean to treat them, but because you have a particular thought process about them or you're used to a certain thing a certain way, then you treat people differently because of that thought process, because of that learned behavior. Okay? So we're gonna take a little gander, a little gander of what inclusion. Now, when you include people, we talked about inclusion when we were on our single series, right? And people like to be included, feel like they're included. But what about when you're out and about? What about at church, at work, any place, and you feel a certain type of way because of how you look, how you dress, how you sound, your skin color, because you're a woman, because that's not how it used to be, or whatever. So I jotted down some notes, okay, about how we can manage unconscious biasness. But wait, let me get here first. So it says personal bias refers to learned beliefs, opinions, or attitudes that people are unaware of and often reinforce stereotypes. These personal biases are unintentional, automatic, and inbuilt. So you don't even know that you're doing it. You don't even know that you're making somebody feel really uncomfortable because of how you're treating them. And you don't even feel that it's a bad thing because it's a learned behavior. It's what we do. And after I did the training on unconscious biasness, I realized how much unconscious biasness I have. So let me tell you, I realized that I work in a high-end type of business, right? So the people that I deal with on a day-to-day basis has money, okay? Money, money, money. Big, big money, right? And when I watch, when I speak to them on the phone, right, they sound like they deserve everything, right? And they have money, but so they milk it. And so I found myself getting kind of like snooty because they will call in to get their shipping charges, you know, sent back to them or whatever, or given back to them, refunded back to them, right? And I would be upset because I'm like, you really calling for $9.99? Like, for real? Why is that? Why can you spend $1,500 on a pair of shoes, but then gonna complain about $9.99? But then I had to realize that rich people are rich for a reason, and they stay rich for a reason, right? But unconsciously, I'm looking down my nose at them for wanting their $9.99 back. Now that might not be what you deal with, right? But that is exactly what I was dealing with. So I was like, wow, if we do it so simply there, how more impactful in other arenas do we do it and we're not aware? Okay? When we look at somebody, I'll use church because I go to church, right? We are sometimes known to be cliquey, right? So if you see somebody, and I'm not saying that this is my church because we are builders of the faith. We are with, we fellowship with so many different people. So we don't have any biases to my knowledge, right? Hello, darling, darling baby. Hello, hello. We don't have any biasness in my eyes. But I've been there. I've been to churches, okay, that if you didn't fit the look, if you didn't fit the criteria, if you didn't act like them, if you didn't talk like them, if you didn't dress like them, right, then there's a problem, right? And it makes you feel uncomfortable. But if you don't know that that is something that can happen, then it can continue to happen. But when you come into the knowledge that this is something that we can be operating in on a day-to-day basis, right? This is something that we can work on and manage. Now, because it is a learned behavior, we may be walking around unconsciously biased all the time, and it's not going to go away overnight. It can't, right? But what we can do is put things into place when we're at the store. People say it all the time. Oh, and I'm not saying that I do, but I'm just giving you examples. Oh, yeah, a Mexican did that. Or, oh, it's racial. It's sexist. It's just prejudice. All in a nutshell. People are just prejudiced and have their own prejudice and get mad when people who are prejudiced know that they're prejudiced. But we have our prejudices too that we must work on. Everybody is not going to fit in the mold. Everybody is not going to look like you, talk like you, dress like you. But the one thing above everything else is that the one thing that we know for sure is that we want to be accepted by our peers. And because we have this thought process on what sophisticated looks like, what classy looks like, what raunchy looks like, what thuggish looks like, that we formulate an opinion, and that opinion takes away from the very character of the person. Okay? So we have to be mindful of the unconscious biasnesses. I just made a new word. Okay? So there's a personal bias. There's a social bias. Let's see. Statistical biasness. Conscious and unconscious biasness. Now I asked the question, and it says, is it wrong to be biased? And the answer came from AmericanBar.org. So I don't know how true this is. This might be a biased statement. Now, having a bias does not make you a bad person. However, and not every bias is negative or hurtful. It's not recognizing the biases that can lead to bad decisions at work, in life, and in relationships. We can judge people quickly and not understand that this is who they are, but this is not what makes them, that's not their character. Although they may dress like that, that's not their character. Although they may do, I don't know. I'm sorry. Let's get to this. How can you tell if someone is biased? You can tell that somebody is biased by their heavily opinionated or one-sidedness. Relies on unsupported or unsubstantiated, let me say this right, unsubstantiated claims. So it can be lies, all right? Relies on unsupported or lies. Presents highly selected facts that lead to a certain outcome. So they in one of the examples of biasness, right? Unconscious biasness. They put up 2 resumes, right? One resume is said about experience, right? Schooling-wise experience, that you had the education. And the other application had nothing but experience. And they wanted to know who would choose what. So when it just didn't have any face or anything, they chose education over experience. Then when they put a female name on the educated one and a male name over an experienced one, they then changed their tune and chose experience over education. Now, why is that? They chose that because in their mind's eye, the person that goes for that particular job is more male dominated, right? So regardless, if now the first one educated is male, right? They take the male and they took education. It's all right, Tange. It's all right. I'm babbling as usual, y'all. But they took the male educated one over the female experienced one. Then when the female was under the educated one and the male was under the experienced one, they chose the male experience, which means that they had a biasness against a woman being in that more male dominated career path, right? So we do that in our day-to-day life. And we have to understand that that it's not fair, right? And we pass by and we miss so much when we don't open up our minds to expand past our comfort zone of who we talk to, who we get ideas from. Then they used another one as far as you go to your normal team who are yes men, right? So you get the same outcome with everything. But if you broaden your horizons and give yourself a variety of people and you take a poll on things, then you will find out different perspectives, different mindsets, different mentalities, different ideas on how to accomplish your goal. And it's not self-proclaimed, but you have brought in a team of people who have given you so many different perspectives that now you have something to work with other than your own. If you allow unconscious biasness to stay fully active in your life, you miss so many things. You miss it. Yes, growth, sis. You miss it because you've already set your sights. You already said what you're going to say. You already feel how you're going to feel. And there's nothing shaking you. But what are you missing? You know, and this may not be a hot topic for everybody, but I know it's a hot topic for me on how to deal with people and how to broaden my perspective on different ideas, different mindsets, because I'm not always right. We're not always right. And we need somebody that will hold us accountable, that will not be yes men to us, but to say, well, have you thought about doing it this way? And it may be totally out your sphere of comfortability, but it may be the very thing that you need to take you where you got to go next in your next level. You know, you can't be around the same people. It's kind of like doing the same thing, expecting a different result. You understand what I mean? It's like insanity. But it's your insanity that you're keeping up because the people that you choose to keep around you are the people that's going to yes you to death and not correct you or not even challenge your thought process to think outside of the box. We think inside of the box, just like we sometimes keep God in a box. We think that God is just this one way, which he is. He says, I'm the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. But the way that he brings about how he teaches us, how he's molding us, how he's preparing us is totally different. And everybody got a different testimony on how God did it. Even though he's unchanging, he still brings different perspectives. And you know when it's God, because you said only God could have did that. I would have never thought. My favorite statement is, God, you're so smart. I would have never thought of that. But who are we missing in our circle to make us better? Who did we make a snap judgment about without really fully getting to know that person, getting to know their heart posture, not by how they look, not by how they act. Because, baby, take me for instance. I'm corky. I'm loud. I'm obnoxious sometimes. But my heart is good. My heart, that's what I strive for, to be a good person on purpose. That's why I tell people all the time, have a great day on purpose. No matter what, I strive to be that. We get trapped in the familiarity and we miss the mark. Yes, but the familiar is comfortable, right? So, and that saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why do we have to change up? It's been working all of these years. But if you want God to do a new thing, right, and have a fresh wind, a fresh anointing, something that you've never seen before in your life, right? You have to open your mind to something different. We have to change. We have to evolve. We have to. We can't stay the same. We can't. There's no way that we can stay the same and grow. It's an oxymoron. But the right people in your corner that may not look like you, that may not sound like you, that may not even act like you, but have a mind to produce certain things that you never would have thought of. We have to be mindful of the unconscious biasness that we operate in. 7 forms of bias. Invisibility. You can make somebody real invisible real quick. I have that trait. And it's not a good trait when you know how to walk past somebody like you don't know them. That's not a good thing. And you do it because you don't like the way they dress. You don't like the way they act. So unbeknownst to you, we have our nose up in the air, thinking that we're better. And we're not. We're all made equal. Some may have more money than others, but that didn't change your blood color. That didn't change anything other than the fact that your tax bracket is a little high. But you still go through the same thing that we go through. Stereotyping. Oh yeah, she comes from that place. So everybody, I'll use this one. Nothing good comes out of Nazareth. That's what they said about Jesus. Oh, the Nazarene. Nothing good comes out of there. And the greatest man on earth came from Nazareth. But they had a biasness. You said, why don't you have a radio show? I don't know. I don't know, Toya. Why don't we have a radio show, darling? If you're going to put it out there, why don't we? Huh? Put you on the spot. Put you on the spot, too. Imbalance and selectivity. You select the people that you're more comfortable with because you're scared to go out of the box. Yep, you better laugh. Don't put it out there if you ain't ready to join me, boo. Love you. Mean it. But that's a good idea, though. I'm listening. I see you. Let's talk about it. Let's sup together. Let's reason together, sis. But we choose the same people over and over because they look the part, they act the part, and they dress the part, right? And we pass over the people. Now, again, there's some people who are so knowledgeable, but because they don't look like you, you'll never know. There's some people who are anointed, but because they don't look like you, act like you, or talk like you, you'll never know. You won't even ask God to reveal it to you. Because what good comes out of Nazareth? You understand what I mean? Unreality. I don't know what that means. Fragmentation and isolation. To make somebody feel isolated, not a part of. That's a horrible feeling. To feel like you're an outcast. That's a horrible, horrible feeling. And some people do it on purpose because they need that power boost, you know? But if it's something that we can fix within us, we really should fix it within us. Linguistic biasness. I don't talk like you. I talk like I'm Shannon from the Bronx. I don't act like you. Because my mother and my brother and my sister and my father. Now, mind you, I know a lot of people who talk like that or speak like that. I know a lot of people. But I also know just because they speak like that does not mean that they cannot impart wisdom. Do you know somebody out on the street that is deemed mentally ill can teach you such a positive life lesson if you just take the time? If you don't say, ill, he stink, ill, she stink, ill, ooh, ew, and you just be kind. You don't even know what type of jewels will come out of these people that are just walking down the street. And you don't know how you will bless each other. Don't you know in the Bible it talks about be careful how you treat people because you never know when you're entertaining an angel. And I believe that God allows that because of the simple fact that we believe that we be on the right track and we be treating people right. And then all of a sudden, we realize that we're not, that we didn't, that we mishandled somebody because of our unconscious biasness. We have to really, really, really take a look at ourselves. Because like I said earlier in the show, I work for a company, and these are great people. They're nice and everything. But because they have more money than me, I feel like they don't need to be calling back in for their $9.99 shipping, right? And I had to check myself. So when this subject came up, I was like, oh, wow, I'm doing that. But the first step in any problem is admitting that you have a problem. But the last one is cosmetic biasness. Cosmetics, they don't look like you. I don't look like a lot of people. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, oh, shit, you got to go to the dentist. Y'all got $19,000? But that's not going to stop me from being in my purpose. You understand what I mean? And I may not look like everybody. My eyes may be wide apart. I have a nose ring. Well, I got a missing tooth. My hair is shaved. What else? What can we talk about? Does that take away the fact that I'm a forward thinker, that I can think on my feet, that I have common sense, that I hear from the Lord, that I can lead if you allow me to. I can preach, but does my tooth matter? Does my eyes being chinky matter? Does my shaved head and my nose ring change the intellect that I have? No. No. But we base stuff off of that. We need to really stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. It says, why should I care about unconscious biasness? Why is it important to think about unconscious bias? Unconscious bias can affect workplaces and organizations. It can introduce unintentional discrimination and result in poor decision making. Unconscious bias can be a huge setback in creating a truly diverse and inclusive workspace, partnership, business, everything, relationship. So it says, what are the 3 types of biasness? Information bias, selection bias, and confounding. This also gave an example as well of unconscious biasness. It says, for example, a team is deciding between 2 proposals. One person thinks proposal A is better, but the rest of the team is leaning towards proposal B. The person is swayed by their opinions and ends up voting for proposal B because everyone else does. So that's kind of like the part in the Bible where he says we'll all be led like sheep to the slaughter because we follow the leader. We do things even if we don't even feel like it's right. We will follow, But the good news is that Jesus said, my sheep knows my voice and will follow no other. You understand what I mean? But if you don't know who you really are, right? You'll follow anybody just to be included. Because maybe you've been part of unconscious biasness all your little life. That right there is something. All right, y'all. How do you stop unconscious biasness? Accept that we all have unconscious biasness. We all do. Make considered decisions. Monitor your behavior. Pay attention to bias-related information and protect your characteristics. I don't know what that means. Widen your social circle. Stop hanging with people that's just like you. The saying says, if you're the smartest one in your circle, I think you need to get a new circle because you need to have a circle that's going to challenge you to change for the better. Did you see what my sister just put up there? My sister Toya, she said, why don't you have a radio show? I never thought about that. But wow, she may see something that I never thought to see or look into, right? But you have to be around people who have vision in order for you to sharpen your vision. If you're the only person around you that has vision, That's a dictatorship. That's control. That's not even friendship. That is, you're the head, you're the you're the leader, and they're the followers. Because they don't have no thought. They don't have nothing to add or bring to the table. Because you're the smartest one in your group. We have to expand and widen our social circle and stop trying to hide behind things. Because we do. We hide behind things. Set ground rules for behavior and avoid making assumptions or relying on gut instinct. Now, guess what? That last one is for me because I go with my gut. I'm like, oh, my shining eye done told me. Real talk. Real talk. And, I think we all make assumptions sometimes, but I try to rely on my instinct, my intuition, my gut, my discernment, all of that. So that's, that may be something that I have to change, right? Can unconscious biasness be changed? Because unconscious biases are based on a lifetime of experiences, changing them may take time, even if you continue to have knee-jerk responses. You don't have to follow those instincts. Whenever it's possible, take the time to consider how you're reacting to a person or a situation. We have to take into account how we are reacting to a person. We were mandated to treat people the way that we want to be treated and to love people the way that we want to be loved. But when we think that somebody is in a lower status than us, we tend to talk to them any kind of way. We tend to lord over them instead of, although knowing our position, still being able to be humble and nice and open-minded to the things that is going on. Take time to consider how you're reacting to a person or a situation. That falls under emotional maturity as well. And for the most part, I think that I'm emotionally mature until I'm not. You understand what I mean? Until I'm not. But we can unlearn it, okay? We can unlearn these things to have healthier relationships where we are open-minded to different perspectives and different thought processes that will ultimately open brand new doors and opportunities that we have not even thought to think about. It says the percentage of unconscious biasness from 1998 is at a milestone. It says a milestone study carried out by a team of social psychologists at the University of Washington and Yale analyzed the reality behind people's biasness and measured the root cause of their prejudice, concluding that biases ran through 90 to 95% of the people. So that means that everybody has it. Everybody deals with it, but we don't know that we're actually doing it because it's unconsciously. So this is just a show to let you guys know that we treat people like this unconsciously. So, in our prayer, we pray to God. We ask God to forgive us from omission and commission, right? That's knowing and unknowing the sins, right? That we may know about and that we may not know about. So it covers us, right? It covers us because Jesus and his blood covers a multitude of sin. And we don't want to be prejudiced, which forms or is directly connected. It's directly connected to separation when God wants us to be together. And that's not what I was going to say. The thought just went straight out my head. Y'all saw it? I was like, gone. The thought process was out. So, unconscious bias training works. It has been used by countless organizations to improve representation and inclusivity, and they have enjoyed invaluable benefits as a result. Some are even exploring new ways to deliver the content and impact to their team. Okay? So they're finding new ways to include people in their stuff in spite of their differences. Hey, Kia. How you doing, Boobala? So, if we don't do anything, or if we don't take anything away from this show tonight, just know that you're walking around with unconscious biasness. Regardless if you think so or you're not. Even though the statistics are kind of old because it said 1998. But back then, the world wasn't as bad as it is today. So if it was 90 to 95% in 98, just imagine what it is now. Everyone holds unconscious beliefs about various social and identity groups. And these biases stem from one's tendency to organize social worlds by categorizing. Unconscious bias is far more prevalent than conscious prejudice and often incompatible with one's conscious values. Did y'all understand that? It's far more prevalent than me saying to someone that I don't like them. Unconscious biasness is more prevalent, which means we all deal with it. And we all need to check ourselves before we riggedy wreck ourselves, because these are the little small foxes. Like the Bible says that there's small foxes. Oh, a little leaven leavens the whole lump. We be thinking about the big picture, which we need to, right? But we have to look at these small foxes that sneak in and steal our inheritance because of little things like unconscious biases. Gossip was last week. And last week we learned that there was 133 scriptures that talks about gossip and slander. It's a lot of stuff that we take for granted. It's a lot of things that we think that we're okay in that we may not be okay. So we need to repent for everything. You know how many times I repented just today? But I thank God I serve a God that is just to forgive me and throw it into a sea of forgiveness. But I also take correction. And I also understand correction. I may not like it right then and there, but ultimately I accept it because I know that when I get corrected by God, even if my thought process is wrong or if I'm in my feelings a little bit too much, God checks me. He really does check me. And some things I budge in and some things I don't. But at the end of the day, we have to be mindful that there's little foxes that'll spoil our goods, that will steal our inheritance. And we think we have it. And when we open the bag, come to find out there was a hole in the bag and the fox done stole everything. We don't want that. I know I don't want that. I know I don't want it, right? So, guys, we're at our 10-minute mark. I hope. Oh, no, I got to tell y'all what we can do about this unbiasedness. And I know I'm saying it wrong, y'all, but it's okay. My boyfriend even said to me, "Did you just make up a word?" Because I said biasness. And he says, "Is that a word?" Make better decisions. Manage unconscious biasness will help us make better and more objective decisions. Unconscious biasness undermines effective decision making. Research shows that when we take mental shortcuts, we often fail to think through information rigorously and objectively. As a result, we may make mistakes or reach the wrong conclusions. By using good strategies to manage unconscious bias, we can make better, more thoughtful decisions. Managing unconscious bias helps ensure that the best ideas are heard. So you don't want to close the mouth of people when you don't know what God is doing. You know, you don't know what God is doing in people's lives. And this is not for anybody other than the people who hear me, who feel that they do this. You know, God has a slew of people that He can bring into our world to help broaden our horizons. But will we really be open to receive them? What if they don't look like us? What if they have an accent? Take that, for instance. Like we have unconscious biasness off of customer service representatives that's not located in the US. As soon as we hear a foreign accent, oh, here we go. We already came to the conclusion that they're not going to understand what we're saying, that this is going to be a long, drawn out call, that they're just not smart when that's not true. They're very smart, right? English is a very hard language to learn. But we've already closed off ourselves from receiving from them because we heard their accent and and going through the motions, that if we just sat still and allowed them to talk and turned on our active listening skills, right? We can hear them clearly. They'll tell us what we need to do and we'll keep going. But because it's not what we used to, it's not what we've experienced before, and I don't like it. Self-indignation. Why would they change this? Because change is growth. Change is growth. So, at the end of the day, we have to be mindful of the change that has to occur on the inside of us. We have to grow. We have to get out of familiarity so that we won't miss the mark. Like Toya said, because we miss it. We miss people, places, and things sometimes because we already have a preconceived notion about it. And the preconceived notion may not even be true, y'all. And we cut off our nose to spite our face because it doesn't look like me, it doesn't talk like me, it doesn't dress like me, it doesn't act like me, so therefore it's wrong. No, we're wrong. And we have to get it together. So, I hope that this show has helped you tonight. It has helped me. And the reason why it helped me is because now I realize that I have unconscious biasness. We have to do better. Let's get rid of these small foxes. Let's open and broaden our mind to different things so that we can get our complete blessing. Because we may, like I said, be cutting off our nose to spite our face because it doesn't look, act, or speak the way that we think they're supposed to do that. Thank you, sis. You know I like to babble, but I hope that the content that was brought tonight has helped you understand that you're not by yourself. We're all live together, hand in hand. Anyway, please check out our merchandise. We have merch now. We have our notebooks, t-shirts. It's getting chilly out there. Sweatshirts, bags. Please support At the Root of It. If you feel like we have helped you in any way, shape, or form, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost you a thing. Just click the button and click the bell for the notifications so that you can see when we are on live and in color. I love you to life. I am going to share the commercial for the merchandise. And then I will see y'all next week, y'all. Same bat station, same bat time. Until we meet again, I love you a long time. I love you a long time. And also, please go and listen to our 15-minute guided meditation for your daily pick-me-up. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling like not yourself, go and listen to some I Am affirmations to remind you of who you really are. I love you out of life. Stay blessed. Have a great week on purpose. Do not let anyone steal your joy, no matter what. I love y'all. See you later.
Welcome, everyone. We want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to be with us. Come on, let's get to the root of it.
In these times that we live, we take strides to move forward. We strive to be more, stay strong and be focused. Start a while, we make choices, live or die. Take over starts at the root, and the truth may be hard to swallow. Step one, self-love above anything else. Unlock peace and happiness. Whoa. At the root of it, you will find your truth, you're no longer blind. Here's the proof, you're aligned with a seek, and you will find it. Bottom line, you are divine. Your focused mind is your power. You're on a journey for the next whole hour. Let's get to the root of it.
Let's get to the root of it.
Subscribe to At the Root of It on
Welcome
YouTube.
to At the Root of It's affirmation for the day. Please sit in a quiet place so that you can free your mind and speak positivity over you. Relax your mind, sit in a quiet space, and release all anxiety, stress, decisions, anything that is hindering you.
Welcome, everyone. We want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to be with us. Come on, let's get to the root of it. Ow!
In these times that we live, we take strides to move forward. We strive to be more, stay strong and be focused. Start a while, we make choices, live or die. Take over starts at the root, and the truth may be hard to swallow. Step one, self-love above anything else. Unlock peace and happiness.